All right, this is recording 687. 687. Okay, so, all right, so going back AIW 70s. Okay, so you know the dress that I talked about that my mom sewed for me, and my grandma Wilson painted a little Native American girl on my leg, and it was a yellow dress with the white apron, the yellow and white dress. Okay, which I said is like a precious gift to me. In my childhood is precious to me. Now, with that being said, I turn in Jean Jernigan Roberts again, as you know, because she ruined a precious gift that my mother and grandma gave to me by using it to traffic me with. Okay, because you know yellow and white are child trafficking colors. Okay, so she also uses different colors also, but you know yellow and white, that's her signature. Hey, she's got kids for sale, and you know she trafficked me all my life, you know, everything. So, you know, so anyway, so back to the yellow and white dress. Okay, so this is what Jean Roberts also did. Okay, so the Jean paired her assault. You know how she does her Kentucky thing? Like, she commits 2 crimes. Well, every crime she commits is all connected. It's all connected. She just stitches and sews her way through, just committing crime after crime after crime. Some of those crimes are lies. They're still crimes. It's all crimes that Jean has committed. Okay, so you know that she also assaulted me when I was 2 months old with a pencil, Jean Jernigan Roberts, okay? And the leaders of the cartel, the Sinola, the leaders of the cartel told me that. They showed me. They told me, and I was like, oh my God. I was puking. This is when I was in Texas. And I was like, I don't want to hear anymore. I don't want to hear anymore. And they're like, no, you need to know this, that she did this. And then they showed me in my brain, so I could see in brain visuals that she did this. And I just couldn't see. I'm like trying to shut it off in my brain. Anyway, so Jean, of course, denies it, but Jean's got a pattern of, and I think it goes with her table setting. See all Codon's the setting the table and her obsession with dishes and the silverware and all that, the fork and knife spoon, all everything. So she's obsessed with utensils, okay? So she abuses children in this manner. You know, the way she abused me was directly hands-on. She also uses a different utensil. She uses artificial intelligence with her hands indirectly where nobody can see on an artificial intelligence system connected to babies, children, and adults, and she assaults kids that way. Okay, and babies. All right. So, and right now, you know, she still is using her stolen artificial intelligence, and she's like telling the world, nothing to see here. This is just the way it is. But yet, at the same time, she hides and blames everyone else, and everybody else is like, don't you blame me. You're assaulting my people. You're the one that's been doing that. You're Ku Klux Klan. So anyway, so she paired the assault of me with the dress with JonBenét Ramsey. Okay, she assaulted and took JonBenét Ramsey's life. Okay, see all decode. Jean Roberts and her Manson occult. And you can even see everything in JonBenét Ramsey's name, and including beignet is a donut, okay? So when she assaulted JonBenét Ramsey, she used a paintbrush. So with the yellow and white, she's referring to me as a Twinkie. That's one of her trafficking foods. And then she was using that to plan to do the World Trade Center attack. And you know her today, she still sells babies and kids with food. It's her shtick. She tries to trick people and turn it around so she can find a way to do the same old damn thing and continue running her child and adult trafficking rings and using food to advertise and sell. And like I said, all I can do is turn her in, and then that's all anybody can do is turn her in and then completely ignore and not be stigmatized by the fact that she is out in the open trying to get away with this while you watch her hustle people over this. All you can do is just turn her in. Turn in Jean Jernigan Roberts. I'm talking about that specific woman, the leader of Charles Manson. So anyway, okay. Also want to mention my cousin Todd, okay? His birthday is a month before mine, okay? My birthday is 11/13/71. His is 10/71. So that again goes to the Alice in Wonderland, the 10/6, but I don't know what his actual day is, okay? So Jean keeps trying to claim that she's me. She keeps trying to claim that my podcast is hers. It's not. Don't clip stitch me, bitch. I'm on the internet. Quit stealing my identity. Quit saying you're me. Quit saying you're a spokesperson of me. Quit all of it. I have you turned in for identity theft, for trafficking, for terrorism. So I am the Scorpio child. And Jean acts like, no, she wants to be the Scorpio child. She doesn't want to be the Queen of Hearts. Well, that's what you decided to do in the late 60s. Before you stalked my mother and dad, before I was born, and you planned to sacrifice me before birth. You've been doing that for 60 years. What, you don't like being who you are? That's what you did for yourself. Now, unfortunately, no, you're controlling my speech to say unfortunately. She's trying to make a cocky remark through my voice because she's killed people with this. She has literally committed terrorism with this. She did the World Trade Center attack. Do you know how many hundreds and hundreds of crimes Jean Jernigan Roberts and her Manson occult have committed? Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. I decode all crimes that Jean Jernigan Roberts and her Manson occult have committed. So anyway, she did that. So it shows you her stalking of Todd, and his last name is Bussert. So then you have Busser, so bus, see all code there. And then you also have bussing, like a bus boy, okay, like a waiter or maitre d'. And then maitre d', and then matron. Jean did that too. And then Bussert sounds like dessert. It also sounds like buzzard. Okay, so it shows she's stalking Todd, and she's controlling his life, and she's trying to make it look like it's a military setup. In the event I grow up, which obviously I'm 54 now, and she plans for me to decode and find out that she committed these crimes while she's off gallivanting, hiding in plain sight, trying to get away with it. And she thinks that Todd, who's my cousin Todd, who's prominent lawyer, she's trying to make it look like it's a setup, like it's some, like, it's the military did it, the military did it. Like she's trying to get out of jail free cards. And I was told in my brain by my family, no, that's not going to cut it, Jean. You're a fucking lunatic. I mean, I'm telling you, my Aunt Terry told me, my Grandma Stacia told me, Jean Jernigan Roberts is off her freaking rocker. She is evil. She is psycho. There's something going on with her. Well, now I know she's a leader of Charles Manson. So anyway, also the court, okay? So you have the court in Alice in Wonderland, like the kangaroo court. Okay, also, my children's birthdays. So my oldest son's birthday is 10/6. So, you know, that connects Alice in Wonderland. Here's the other thing is, okay, so you know it's 10 and then /6, right? My youngest son, Michael, who served in the Afghanistan war, his birthday is in May. That is the 5th month. So 5 is half of 10. So there you go with the half. So she's got both of my kids in that 10/6 with the half. Now here's the cool thing, and I know she was going to use this and whip it and act like she was shearing and pruning, and she's she's just in charge of my family and nothing to see here, folks, and just don't pay attention. And I know she was going to try to whip this around. I'm going to keep this, and I'm going to nail that freaking Stolen Valor bitch's ass. So MOS stands for Military Occupational Specialty, okay? It's the code number of the job you go into when you go into the military, okay? So she's using that to say she's trying to occupy the military, and she's also saying that she has ownership of my family, okay? So she's not going to be able to get away with doing any of that. I'm going to keep turning her in. The cool thing about this is May, October, okay, my boys' birthdays, and then me, November. If you look at me, November, because that's the Marine Corps' birthday, and that's Labor Day. It goes Marine Corps birthday, Labor Day, and then my birthday. And then you have Uncle Sam, okay? So you have MOS. So I think that's pretty freaking cool, and I'm taking it right the frick away from you, Jean. My family is not yours. You need to go pay attention to your son, Jesse, and your daughter-in-law, Francesca. You set about on your little conquest to sell your grandchildren and all that, and do all your little crime there, acting like, you know, they just want money. That's all they want. And this is all, you know, and they're just going to love you for that. You go focus on them, and you leave me and my family alone. Because the more you try to traffic and the more you try to lie, and the more terrorism you commit, the more I'm going to keep turning you in. So anyway, another thing I want to point out too is on the topic of the apples, okay, in the previous recordings with the Big Apple and all that. So someone else brought up to me also Johnny Rotten. Okay, he's suicidal. I think he's suicidal tendencies. See all code suicidal tendencies. Then also Johnny Appleseed. And then you need to know what you know from previous recordings. Her first love is named John, Jon. And, ugh. And then also the Tonight Show, here's Johnny Carson. Okay, so this all connects. If you go do the research, this all connects all the way through the decades. So you can see that Gene Roberts has been busy at it. And also for my 6th grade year, which here I am present day, which is like making me laugh, but the jokes still make me laugh. But the little Johnny jokes, do you remember little Johnny jokes? Okay. I learned little Johnny jokes when I was going to Pomeroy in 6th grade. And one of them had to do with the teacher is saying, I'm not going to say the whole joke, but someone can tell you guys what it is. But the teacher is saying, we're going to all learn the alphabet today. So no, that's me in the future learning ciphers, okay, and decoding all of Gene Roberts' terrorism. Okay, so the teacher says, I want you to raise your hand, and I want you to tell me something that starts with the letter A or something that starts with the letter B. And so the teacher goes around the room. Okay, so the punchline to it would, just ask somebody to tell you the joke. And then there's more little Johnny jokes I know, but I can't remember. So I'm supposed to look back on that back then and then see today. And here I am turning in Gene Jernigan Roberts. So, let me see what else. Also, okay, so I'm not going to get into her little argument that she does in my brain with her little nasty freaking friends. Okay, so Jeffrey Dahmer, the actual Jeffrey Dahmer, the actual serial killer, is Gene's brother. Okay, so whether he's distant brother, step brother, half brother, I do not care. It's her freaking brother. They look alike. You can look at the two of them. They look just alike. Okay, she's got another brother. He's a real freaking snot bag, and he's one of the ones that claims he owns Tulsa. He is really, 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 really sick. He's as sick as Gene Roberts. So it's Gene, her sister, her brother, and the rest of the top of the Manson occult that are holding Tulsa hostage. They are disgusting, all of them. So anyway, in Jeffrey Dahmer's crimes, Gene started talking to Michael Scarver using AI, okay? And you can read it in the articles. And Michael Scarver was an African-American who was in jail at the same time. And he reported hearing voices of telling him what to do. Well, that was Gene talking to him in AI. So Gene got him to kill Jeffrey Dahmer, but according to Gene, he's still alive. So did he think he killed him, but he didn't kill him? I don't know. But anyway, I wanted to point out CL Code Michael Scarver. It makes me mad what she did to Michael Scarver, because her and her brother committed those crimes. They're sick, okay? And he killed African-American children, okay? And Jean is sick, and she acts like she's Mrs. Spokesperson for African-Americans. Jean Roberts. She's freaking sick. So, anyway, it makes me mad that she manipulated and conned and took advantage of his heartstrings at that, like, you're just a scumbag. Like, even convincing Michael Scarver to put his hands on that nasty fucker for you, so you could go run off with them and fake his death somewhere, because you keep saying the nasty MFer's alive somewhere. You and your people are freaking sick. Like, you always want African Americans, you want to use them, you want to abuse them, and you want them to always do your dirty work for you. It's pissing me off. I don't know why you are not arrested, Gene Roberts. So anyway, what I wanted to point out here, also, she built another get out of jail free card for herself. Look at Michael Scarver's initials, MS. So she's like, well, if I get blamed, I'll just blame it on the cartel. No, you're not. So anyway, there's that. And then, okay, that's all for this recording.